Iman Gadzhi has style. You don't need flashy brands or designer logos to dress like Iman. In fact, you don't even need that much money. Iman wears mostly unbranded, plain clothes that fit the old money aesthetic. Now, if you're like me, you've probably never thought too much about your style. Or maybe you have, but you've just went for easy options like t-shirts and shorts or hoodie and jeans. And that's fine, you don't have to worry about your clothes. But there are some real positives to dressing better in your late teens and 20s. Women will find you more attractive, business people will take you more seriously, and you'll find that people have a generally higher level of respect for you if you dress well. And look, it might sound superficial or cringy to say, but in a world obsessed with looks and vanity, it makes sense to play the game, even if you don't really care. Now, Iman Gadzhi, you're probably familiar with him, but for the people out there who aren't, he's an entrepreneur who's amassed millions of followers here on YouTube with his videos about self-improvement, making money, and general advice for young men. So today we're going to look at how you can dress like Iman without spending like Iman. I'll also go over why this might look terrible on you and how to avoid that. So make sure you subscribe if you want to learn about how to level up as a young man. So first things first, Iman doesn't like to wear brands.
There's no branding on pretty much anything I wear. Like definitely nothing top or bottom. There's zero branding ever.
I personally don't mind wearing small, subtle logos on my clothing from brands like Ralph Lauren, but I agree that brands that have big logos, they're just like tacky, and most of the time they actually look fake. So let's look at the t-shirts and shirts that Iman wears to start with. They're quite plain, so I wanted to take you through a few of the ones he owns and then show you affordable alternatives. So in this first one, we can see that he's wearing this navy polo shirt. It looks pretty good. I think it's knitted, and I went and found a couple of different versions of this shirt. So there's a Bottega Veneta one, which I don't think it is because there's no pocket on the front, but this is the closest I could find to what he wears. He wears a lot of Bottega Veneta. This is about £440, so if you're willing to drop that on a polo shirt with no branding and looks pretty much the exact same as a cheaper one, then be my guest. But if you're interested in wearing this shirt without spending that much money, I recommend you go to River Island or look for an alternative that's a little bit more expensive. You're probably going to get a better looking one than this one. This one was like £15, but it looks like it fits well. It's pretty much the exact same shirt. I would recommend that if you're going to buy a nice shirt, just buy one that looks nice quality and get it tailored. That's going to look way better than spending £400 or £500 on a shirt that's just a big brand. Next up, we have this white long sleeve polo shirt from, I'm not sure what brand to be honest. It looks pretty sweet, but I'm going to go and show you a couple of different versions. So I found this one on Charles Tyrwhitt. I'm not sure exactly how that's spelled, but that is pretty much the exact same shirt. Now it has a very small logo, as you can see here. It's white as well, so it's quite unnoticeable and it doesn't stand out as like, oh, this guy's wearing a brand, because if you're going to take this really seriously and you don't want to have any brands at all, this isn't a bad alternative because it literally doesn't look like it has a brand on it. But there's absolutely nothing wrong, in my opinion, with having a brand. Ralph Lauren do some really nice versions of these where they'll have like a white one with a little blue logo, and I think they look really, really sick, and they're not that expensive either. So this is a nice shirt. It's like £60. I'm sure he probably got a much more expensive one. But if we look at this Loro Piana one, this is much more likely what he bought. It's a £635, literally long sleeve white polo shirt. So if that's something you want to spend your money on, go ahead. If you're a young man, maybe you're making some money online at the minute, or you're not making money, or you're working in a job or whatever, and you're looking to upgrade your wardrobe, in my opinion, you're much better spending the money on cheaper clothes that look the exact same, getting them tailored, and then just spend the money, invest it into your own time, invest it into things that give you your time back so you can make more money, because that is the most valuable asset you'll ever have. Whether that means hiring somebody to do something for you. Imagine you spent like £2,000 on clothes this month. You could have possibly paid like a chef or a meal prep company to prep all of your meals for the month. That could have cost a couple £100, and now you already have like 40 hours of your time back, because like 10 hours a week on cooking and cleaning and all that stuff, you could have spent that £500, you could get 40 hours of your time back. Which is more valuable to you? Is it a polo shirt that's literally white and plain and looks the exact same as a cheaper one, or 40 hours of your time as a young man that you will never ever get back? Just think about it. Now let's move on to coats. So I don't usually see E-Man wearing coats, but in this video I saw him wearing a pretty sweet blue jacket. And it looks like it's kind of outdoor jacket, weatherproof, whatever it is. But I found this on Loro Piana and it's £2,500. So this is one of the only ones that if I were rich, I would probably buy this. I probably am rich. I make like 75k a month with my business, but I don't feel rich enough to spend £2,500 on a coat because there's so many more things that I would rather spend my money on, to be honest. So I found the jacket here on Loro Piana, and as you can see, it's about £2,500, which for a coat is quite a lot of money. Obviously, if you have the money to spend, this is quite a hard coat to replicate. I looked all over the internet for this and it was very, very hard to find a very close match to this coat for like less than what I can find it for here, which is £2,500. This is clearly the coat that he's wearing because the pockets and everything match up, and I'm pretty sure he mentioned it somewhere in his videos. But as you can see, really, really sweet. You could pair that up with a nice like fleece, a little cream fleece or something like that.
Cream free, cafeteria free.
If I were you, again, I would not spend this amount of money. I found another coat that's probably not nearly as nice, but look, it's pretty close to it. To be honest, if I wanted to spend £2,500 on a coat, I would probably spend it on this. Most of the other stuff, I would just buy the cheaper alternative. Our company makes like 75k a month, but still, I would not drop £2,500 on a coat just because I don't see it as a good way to spend my money at the moment. I am really, really focused on spending my money on my time, getting my time back, reinvesting my money, making more money, all that sort of stuff. So I recommend you do the same, but again, this is a fashion video, so it's completely up to you. Now, moving on to a turtleneck. So this is a black turtleneck that I found here on his Instagram. Looks pretty sweet. He's got that rich vibe going on with the wine and possibly a Rolex there. But as you can see, I went on to Dior and found this CD Icon turtleneck sweater for £980. Now that is probably not the exact one that he bought because it is physically impossible to find the exact one that he bought just from a picture, but it's probably close to the price that he paid for it. So if you've got £1,000 to spend, looks pretty sweet. Also, if you would like to save £1,000 and just buy a turtleneck that looks pretty much the exact same, you can find this one here on Amazon for like $20. So I would probably go with this one, but again, it's up to you. Now, moving on to trousers. So these trousers that I found are quite hard to make out, but I was able to have a look online and see some on Bottega Veneta, which is a brand that he often shops at. So these trousers are just like dark cotton trousers, and I was able to find them here. I'm not sure if this is the exact fit because the bottom of them look a little bit weird. So maybe they're not, maybe they're just general like black chinos or something. But trousers are something that I've come to realize are actually worth spending a little bit more money on, because it's hard to get a nice pair of trousers without spending like at least £100, because most trousers are either just baggy or they just look a bit cheap or tacky. But if you want really, really nice ones and you spend £100 and you can get them tailored for like 10 or 20 pounds or dollars for my American viewers, you can get some really, really nice ones. So I would probably recommend going and getting some tailored ones. If you want to know a brand that I shop at, like a brand that I bought some from in Italy whenever I was there, it's called Navigar. So I'll put that up on the screen right now. I bought some pretty sweet chinos from there in a couple of different colors, but I'm not sure if you can buy them online. I got them in a tailor and I'm not sure if you're able to buy them. But I was able to find a very similar pair of trousers to the ones that were on Bottega Veneta, and they are £14 from Boohoo Man. I would not ever wear these, to be honest, because these are like something I would wear about the house. I wouldn't be seen dead at a party with a pair of joggers on. So I would probably look at like black chinos or something, which is probably closer to what he's wearing here. Look, it was very hard to make out what he was wearing. I think black chinos are the way to go. Get them tailored, get them fitted. They look super sweet on your legs. Wear them. Now, for all you men and women out there with a foot fetish, we are moving on to shoes. So in this picture, you can see that he has a pair of brown loafers with white or cream bottoms. What am I doing with my life? I'm sitting analyzing someone's Instagram pictures for their shoes. Anyway, let's go to the next one. So we found the shoes on Mytheresa. They are Loro Piana Summer Walk, which he's talked about before. He buys lots of custom shoes that are usually like $2,000. He said, I was able to find a very similar pair. They're not brown, but they're black, and they've got 710 fucking pounds for a pair of shoes. I think I've just come to the end of my wit with this video, because I'm looking at all these clothes. I'm like, you could easily spend 10 grand on a simple basic outfit that you could otherwise spend like £200 on, and I think it would look the exact same. If we go to ASOS, you can see I literally found loafers for £34. Why do I even bother? 34 fucking pounds. Take that money that you were gonna spend on these loafers for £700 and put it into a business, or put it into something that makes you more money or more time. There's so many luxuries in life that you could buy for £700. Little pleasures that you could buy. You could pay for a personal trainer, someone who is literally going to coach you for months and months to become really shredded, and they'll answer all your questions and take all the stress away. You could pay them, but instead some people go and buy a pair of fucking shoes. Now, Iman can afford all of that shit. Don't worry about him, but you're not Iman. If I were you, I would not be dropping this much fucking money on shoes. Sorry, that's just my opinion. This is my YouTube channel. Now, I also mentioned why these clothes might look horrible on you. The reason I'm saying that is because most people will wear the same clothes that Iman does, but they won't put 7 years into building their body to a position where Iman's in. Now, you don't need 7 years to build your physique, but what I can tell you is that if you spend at least 6 months to a year in the gym, build some muscle mass, get yourself in decent shape, these clothes will look much better on you when you get them tailored, rather than if you're just like a skinny white boy that wants to be a copycat of Iman. I would not recommend that you completely copy someone's style, because when you see someone's style being copied, pretty obvious, and you just look like a cheaper version of that person. So I would recommend you get yourself in decent shape, look at some of the color schemes he has, maybe look at other brands you could wear, or look at similar types of shirts or similar types of looks and wear those. There's plenty of videos on YouTube where you can find out about the old money aesthetic and what sort of stuff you can wear. So if that's the aesthetic you're going for, I would probably look at that. I wouldn't just copy Iman. Now, if you want to make enough money to actually wear clothes like this, I'm not saying you have to spend it, but if you want to make that much money, I recommend that you go to the first link in the description, as I detail the best way to make money online in 2023. Make sure to subscribe. I'll see you next time.